Good morning, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the energies for the week ahead with today's Monday's Musings on the 24th of November 2025. That's my kittens you can hear in the background. I've left the door open for them, but I've left the door open also as a representation of the energies that we currently face. How willing are we to be more receptive to the potential that's coming in, our own included? This is the third or fourth time I've started to record this video. Each time I've got a little bit more into it, and each time it hasn't quite been right. There have been moments of the need for perfectionism with the video. There have been moments of needing to know what the week was going to be about first, so doubt. There have been moments of trying to get everything set up so that it flows with things that are out of my control. But underneath it all, the last video felt very repetitive. Can we be open for a different movement now, a different way of being now, a different way of seeing ourselves and the world around us now? One of the things I did tap on in the last video was the energy that's coming in is almost breaking down the physical body. And when I say breaking down, when I sense into the energy currently coming in, it feels very gamma ray, almost radiotherapy type energy, where, you know, my hair is falling out, my lips are very sore, the skin is breaking down. There is a almost alarming effect on the physical body at the moment that is leaving people very tired, leaving people very withdrawn, leaving people feeling very uneasy, because their body's natural system is suggesting that there is change afoot. And when I tuned into it this morning, I heard a breaking down of the body. Now that could be quite alarming in itself, and the image I was given was a chrysalis where we're being turned to goo. Now, I do not advocate that you ignore any physical symptoms that you're having, and I have never been somebody that walks away from the medical side, the scientific side of medicine. If anything, those that know me know I have a history in medicine, being a midwife. So I'm not suggesting that you ignore anything that you're going through, and if you have any concerns, please get them checked out. If anything, as we go into next year, holistic medicine and scientific medicine are going to merge and create a more evolutionary form of well-being, but also being aware that the shifts that are occurring right now are stripping us. They are the last part of this year. They are stripping us into, don't get too caught up in it being the end of the year. These processes take as long as they take, but they are the last stripping of who we once were. Can we be open to something different? I just had a wonderful phone call from my sister, who has achieved so much with her daughters, really gone against the beliefs that have permitted her, restricted her, limited her from stepping into this wonderful soul that she is. And with some great news, she's contacted me because, in her words, I am the next best thing to having a mother, as our own mother has passed. And I felt into that today, and I felt into what that actually means, stepping into being the elder of my immediate family. The responsibility that comes with that, but also the chance to do things my way and differently. We're all being given that opportunity in the next few weeks, depending on how we choose to perceive things. As I said at the beginning of this video, ourselves included. Can we let go of the need to do it perfectly? I'm not going to record this again no matter what happens. I'm going to hold myself to that. Can we let go of the approaches that we have taken being the only way? Can we be open to something more expansive coming through now? Can we see ourselves from another perspective? As we go into the latter part of 2025, as we finally come to a closure or completion of this year, we are going to see more underhand tactics rising to the surface. We are going to almost be encouraged to believe that things have got darker, or that they need to get darker before they get lighter, or whatever way you want to look at it. It is suggesting that things are worse before they get better. We are also on the precipice of recognizing the power of our own energy. and how external situations are feeding from that. And from here, making a choice, making a decision, whether or not we will continue to consume things or be consumed by things that play out this old narrative. Now that's going to be different for everybody. So underneath it all, my narrative today was repetition, going over the same thing. Actually, yeah, no, it isn't going to be different for everybody. The way that it comes up may be different for everybody, but what have we been going over and over and over where there has been no change? I'm not talking about cycles. Cycles bring change. I'm not talking about completion or integration, because that brings change. Where are we? I feel that really in the heart. Where, the higher heart, where are we repeating things? How is that stopping, permitting, restricting, limiting the versions of ourselves that now want to come through? I almost feel very drawn to go back to breaking down of the body and to focus on that. And for those that have watched regular videos, you will know that the whole ethos for me is the human body. But even that is going to shift and change. Even that isn't a structure that we can rely on. It is about going into our inner core and our light, our essence, our soul. As we go into 2026, figuring out what that is. You know, that's what 2025 was all about. What light do we carry forward? Figuring out what that is. Because it's that that's going to be the greatest shift, individually and for humanity. I'm reminded that the 1212 portal is coming to a completion also. You know, the Mayan calendar, that first part is coming to a completion next month. And this morning I was thinking back to when that first happened, the end of the Mayan calendar, and how that felt. And I did feel a shift, whether that was imagined or real. I felt a shift on that day at that time. And I can look back and see just how much has changed in my life. I can look back and reflect on how many transformations there have been. And I can appreciate where I am now physically is that final stage. Where are you in your own process? What do you need to help you merge through this? What is breaking down for you? What are you making space for? These are all valuable questions. You know, I know a lot of us are going into a more reflective period, going into a more, it's actually the feminine Christ, going into a more darker feminine aspect, which can feel really unnerving this time of year when the world suddenly comes alive and everything is being celebrated and there's lights on trees and, you know, it's all go, 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 get ready for Christmas. It can feel quite unnerving to be the opposite. And I'm going to be writing about that in the newsletter for December. However, the opposite of what? What have we been told is quote unquote normal, but actually goes against our own innate nature? When we go into these reflective periods, there can be an underlying assumption that nothing is done, that nothing is achieved, but actually in this void of potential, well, it's called the void of potential, right? Even though it feels as if there's nothing, there is the potential for everything. So if you find yourself this week being drawn back, lacking clarity, you know, breaking down in situations, scenarios, with people, with yourself, what are you being asked to make space for? What are you being asked to release? And by release, I mean bring back now. All those shifts, all those changes, who have they helped you to become? Recognize that was always part of the plan. Have some appreciation for yourself. Stay open to your own potential. Okay, so I'm going to look at the energies this week and how to best navigate it whilst doing exactly that, staying open to whatever wants to come through. I'm going to use the Sacred She Tarot again. I was going to use the Tarot of the New Vision because it, you know, I got very mentally caught up on there being a new vision, because there is, underneath it all, guys, no matter what is going on at the moment, and there's going to be some some situations over the next few weeks that are going to really trigger fear, scarcity, health concerns, relationship breakdowns, you name it, is going to come up. Whatever is happening over the next few weeks, it can feel very heavy, as if nothing's changing. And that's why I was tempted to go for the Tarot of the New Vision. There is new starts, there is new beginnings underneath everything, but only if we can recognize the sacred creation that is occurring throughout it all, which is ourselves. If we don't see ourselves differently, if we don't embrace a more expanded perspective on our own strength and power and what we bring to the table, then nothing else is going to change. Yes, if we don't see our worth, we are going to continually feed into or be fed from systems that will do all that it can to ensure that we don't see our own worth, our own included. So I've decided to stick with the Sacred She Tarot. Feels like there's so much more to learn about the feminine as we go into 2026, and it is starting now for many people. It's been starting since 2012 with the December portal, but it's really starting to hit home on many levels for many individuals this month in particular, and it does feel until June. Yeah, it does feel until June. The solstice, whilst it's coming to bring some lights, I wouldn't get too wrapped up into any invitations or any innovations or any inspirations even that occur before 2026 now. See them as an opportunity to expand on yourself. Okay, energies this week and how to best navigate them. Yes, okay, there is a lot of galactic energy going on, and we are going to feel, hear and see more of that over the next few weeks, months, particularly the next, I would say, well, within the next 10 years. It will be a commonality with us all. How we adapt to that is going to be very interesting to see, and that's why right now it's important to recognize that we too have light bodies, that we too have systems in place that we don't understand, that there is so much more than the physical body also. Okay. Underneath that then we had the Eight of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands, the labour of love and the overload. If we believe that we are just physical human beings, it's not to say that's not part of who we are, but if we believe that we are just physical human beings, then whatever we are faced with is going to be a bit difficult over the next few weeks, because we're limiting our own potential. If we believe that we are on our own, that there is no life out there, be that ancestors, spirits, aliens, foreign beings, whatever you want to call it, plant people, whatever you want to call it, if we believe that it is just about us, we are going to find times more enduring and difficult the next few weeks, because it's important to recognize that it isn't just us. It is those that come. It is those that have been. It is other galaxies. It is other plants and energies and animals. All these things are sentient beings. When we recognize that, we recognize our own beauty too, in a far greater macrocosm of existence. It's not about making us small or not feeling as if we're important. That's the other thing, isn't it? Recognizing over the next few weeks, humility isn't about playing small. Being humble isn't about being not important. It's about recognizing the support and the systems that you are part of, respecting them, and in doing so, respecting yourself. And this is where I'm being shown. It's not just the physical body, isn't just, when I say we're not just physical bodies, what I mean is appreciate the lymphatic system, appreciate the circulatory system, appreciate the emotional body, appreciate the spiritual body, appreciate the complexity of our own consciousness and the impact that that is having on the physical existence that we have as well. Yes, things are being broken down. Because underneath that all, there is a great opportunity to see things that have been covered up with veneers of realities that are no longer working for us on a soul level. We have the Six of Wands underneath. We have a triumph here. So this card portrays ribbons and glamour and fame and, you know, look at me, I've done it type energy. And I don't actually want to focus on that. It feels quite important not to focus on that too much, but to focus on what brings you triumph, to focus on what's important for you, to focus on how you stand in what you have been given, how you create with it. Many have got caught up in what success is, myself included at times. You know, none of us are immune to this. Many of us have got caught up in, it's not individual, the cats are running around, it's not an individual concept, but it is led by one. Many have been caught up in this belief. Many have believed that their desires are just theirs. Many have believed that what they are creating is just for this lifetime, this generation. Triumph goes beyond fame, fortune, recognition. It's not that these things aren't important. They're gateways. They're sparks of creativity. But they're not everything. And this week we may find that. We may find ourselves, thank you. It's going to take a lot to get through it this week. There's a lot of distractions of our own as well, trying to make sense of things. But once we can feel into what is occurring, we may find that it's not enough. That fortune, fame, recognition, money, whatever your thing is, isn't enough anymore to sustain the soul. And that can actually bring triumph. It can feel confusing. It can feel frustrating, almost like why can I never be satisfied? But underneath it all, acknowledging that we have grown and therefore our needs to help us continue growing have changed also, that's going to bring triumph. That's going to align us with our desires because we're going to recognize them for the soul food that they are. Okay. Oh, and I feel resistance there. I feel resistance there. It's like even myself with some of the things that I've been longing for, it's like I recognize the soul part of me that will be created as a result of achieving them, and I'm quite a distance away from that, or at least in my mind I am. Be mindful of that as well this week. We can feel as if we are so far away from the person or situation that's going to achieve what it is we know we deep down want to achieve. But all is a journey, and on the Monday that's what we have, the beginning, we have the fall. I'm going to go through each card separately. That feels quite structured actually, to break things down separately. Okay, so on the Monday we do have beginning. We have the journey of the fall. We have this rainbow body that's actually giving us wings here, and it is the feminine, and it's the ability to walk above the obvious. It's the ability to not only have our head in the clouds, but have our whole body in the clouds. What brings our body peace? What brings our body harmony? Being in that space as much as possible while all the things around it that no longer do are broken down. Yes, our body's going to have a reaction. One of the things I shared in the other video is we are going to feel an impact on our immune systems, not just physically, you know, like I say, with these cold sores and everything else, not just physically, but the situations that cause a response in us, a stress response in us, we're going to be less tolerable of them. And that's the body's way of saying, I don't need to do this anymore. I need to start taking myself onto a new journey. I have learned from this now. That may be uncomfortable. And those that have watched regular videos know that I'm going to lose my teeth, and I've tried to hold on to them, I've tried to fix them, I've tried to heal them, and I have for 6-7 years gone beyond what was possible. And there's a big chunk of me that still wants to keep going because I lack compassionate resilience for myself to recognize that it's draining my body. And the most compassionate thing I can do for myself is to let them go. Now, we may find that this week, particularly on the Monday, that there are things that aren't keeping us healthy, that are causing responses in us that are repetitive. And this is where we need to take a more honest approach, a more compassionate approach to ourselves. on all levels, not just the physical level, the emotional level, the spiritual level, the intelligent level, the our light level. Is this helping us to move forward? It's going to take a lot of responsibility this week to decide what we're going to focus on. Are we going to keep the telly on when it makes us feel negative? Are we going to continue to go in mental loops that conveniently stop us from moving forward, and call it reflection? This week it's going to take some radical honesty with ourselves for the beginning that can bring. That radical honesty is what's going to help us in 2026 to really bring forth some change. One step at a time. One step at a time. So again, not getting too caught up in the distance that we may need to create, one step at a time. Why is that important? When we do one step at a time, we can ensure that those one steps aren't repetitive, that they are actually taking us in the direction we want to go. On the Tuesday, we have the Devil card. We have repression. I want to show you this one. It's quite a freaky looking card. It's like underneath all of these rocks, underneath this wall that we've built that is slowly breaking down, we have this shadow character. We have the devil underneath it that we may not have wanted to face. Yes, the body may be breaking down. Yes, our systems may be breaking down. Our beliefs are breaking down. And underneath that all is an opportunity to look at what's been hidden. On the Tuesday, there's a darkness there. Yeah, there is a darkness there, ready to be faced, ready to be remembered as a reflection of our own. How brave do we feel on the Tuesday? On the Wednesday, got 3 major arcana so far. We have the unknowable, we have the Empress, the High Priestess here. Interesting. On the Wednesday, no matter how it feels, it's not a time to create. It's a time to sit and be with. So we may find, and I feel that in my throat, we may find on the Monday that something new comes about, and it really helps us on the Tuesday release some of the restrictions that we've had on ourselves. On the Wednesday, don't rush into creating. Be with the space of what was and what could be. Feel into the wisdom of not knowing. There is a wisdom there of not knowing that has yet to be tapped into for us all. This breaking down of the bodies, this breaking down of the systems is returning us. So when we have creation, we take spirit and we make it into physical form, but it then has a cycle that then goes back into spirit. And this is what is occurring. So we set an intention on something, we create it, we then realize that in the big scheme of things, it wasn't needed, it doesn't matter, all it was about learning about ourselves, and then that goes back into spiritual form. On the Wednesday, can we, whatever we've achieved by then let it go so that it can become something else? For example, we can have something that rises within us, a trigger that rises within us, that glimmers a wound, and we can see that wound and we can learn from that wound. Are we letting that wound go, or is it taking on another form of the same thing? How can we learn something different? How can we be open to something different if we're going to assume we know what it is? Taking that energy from the Monday, that Fool-like energy that's going to take us through next year as well, to not only release us from anything that's been repressing our reality, but open us up to something different. That's completion. We can be free from something, we can end something, we can stop doing something, but if we don't allow space for something different to come in, energy doesn't die, it just changes form. What are we bringing in on the Wednesday? Remember, the Empress isn't, and this is the thing, isn't it? The Empress isn't always about creating. Life isn't always about doing. It is about receiving also. It is about conceiving also, particularly this time of year. Particularly this time of year when we're out and we're giving and we're doing and we're sharing. What are we receiving as well? On the Thursday, we then have 10 of Cups. We have gratitude. That's not the full moon, is it? No, it's the following week with the full moon. So recognizing that as we go into the full moon, that's what it's all about. Anything that's being communicated now, it's a full moon in Gemini. The song that's going to be for the blog is probably going to be wham, wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. What are we hanging on to as we go into the full moon? All the communication that is occurring, the emotional communication, the external communication, is all an opportunity to look at where we are grateful, what we are grateful for, where that is actually based. Is it genuine gratitude? Is it toxic gratitude? Is it repetitive, keeping us safe in our little boxes? Or is it helping us to expand, to embrace our emotional wisdom? On the Thursday, we can get a sneak peek of that into the following week. What is it that opens us up? So on the Monday, we have this opportunity of a new journey, of seeing things differently. On the Tuesday, yes, that releases some of the repression. On the Wednesday, we've made space. We haven't filled that void with normal everyday things. Yes, okay, so we have this gap, we have this freedom, but we've allowed our body to recognize where the unknowable can cause a knee-jerk reaction for us to feel things, to put things in its place, to consume things rather than be with our own potential. And on the Thursday, we feel the gratitude of that. We feel the gratitude of ourselves in the process. On the Friday, we have the Three of Wands. On the Friday, that's when we can start to really feel into, okay, so what sparks me now? What drives me now? What makes me want to move forward now? Not quite, but what makes me get up and think, yeah, actually, I could be part of this. We have the Three of Wands, and here it's the inner child. Yes, we can feel as if the body's breaking down. Yes, we can feel as if we're aging. One of the things I tuned into for all the changes that are occurring in my body right now, I asked for guidance and I heard the word death. And yes, my body is shutting down. It is completely shedding. It is completely stripping away this older energy to allow something new to come through, to refresh my body, to refresh my soul, to refresh the circumstances. And this is for us all. This isn't just individually, this is collectively. If we want something different next year, for some reason Trump has just popped into my head, which is unusual. So okay, feeling into that, there may be something around that on the Friday with President Trump. What am I actually sensing there? There's resistance there to go further into that. Okay, I'm just going to be mindful of that. Being mindful of the resistance for something new coming in. So for me to talk about politics or to talk about the external is new. And come the Friday, that may be a potential that comes in for me. So being open to what's new for you, being open to being aware of any resistance you may have towards that. Being curious, because I'm finding myself being quite curious where that's taken me, but also being aware of distraction. Being aware of political agenda can be a distraction. Yes, we can know what's going on. Yes, we can sense. Now I'm seeing the budget as well. Yes, we can sense into, and the agreements between Russia and, yeah, okay. Be aware of what's going on. You can feel what is shifting and what is occurring, but don't let political agenda, whether it's externally or your own, distract you from refreshing your feed, quite literally, whether that's on social media and deciding what accounts you want to follow, what it is you want to share, or whether it's refreshing your own feed, what you're choosing to consume or what is choosing to consume from you. Look at your energy. That's not relevant to the reading this week. If I'm supposed to do something on it, I will. Compartmentalize your consciousness on the Friday. How? Allowing your inner child to come forth, allowing a new sparkly version of you to come forth. Be open to that potential, of course, but is it new? Does it refresh you? Does it bring forth a shift that sees beauty and grace? We get so caught up in believing that the elder has this deep, deep responsibility to control things, to be aware of everything. One of the most mature things we can do is to have governance of our own energy. And there are a lot of, I'm not going to say that phrase, but there are a lot of people out there that have huge responsibility that haven't started from within. And yes, I class myself in that many, many times over. That's humbleness. It's not about playing small. It's not about, not recognizing your potential. It's about humbly acknowledging where you're not. It's about recognizing with innocence and grace where the focus has been outside, and growing up by going within. Yeah, next year, as above, so below. Yes, we have the magician energy, but we also have as within, so without. That's the agreement, the soul contract agreement of magic. Acknowledge where you are. Acknowledge what is going on for you. Take this time to actually reflect. When we go into the feminine, into that receptive stage, into that cocoon-like phase, it's not that nothing happens there. The biggest shifts happen there by truly being with where you're at. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On the Saturday, we have generosity. We have the Six of Pentacles. And I love that the wings of the Fool at the beginning of the week are rainbow. And by the end of the week, it's the hands. What we do with our understanding brings forth abundance. How willing we are to share the things that have given us flight, the things that have lifted us up. It's the old saying, isn't it? I don't want to know how you are around people that are okay. How are you around those that aren't? Yeah, what we do in our times of darkness shows more light than any other moment, for me personally anyway, and that could be different for everybody. But recognizing what you do with what you've been given, the experiences that you've had, the path that you've walked, the lessons that you have gained, what you do with your own humanity is what brings balance and generosity to a situation, particularly on the Saturday. On the Sunday, funny enough, we then have balance. So we end with Justice, a beautiful, beautiful card, again with that rainbow. Can't shift this, right? This is the rainbow body. This is the rainbow tribe. This is the rainbow prophecy. This is the rainbow serpent. However you look at it, our bodies are being broken down and evolved with a rainbow light, a more gamma, violet, it's not violet ray, it's, oh, what's the ultraviolet light? Thank you. The ultraviolet light. Yes, it is almost like a radiation occurring with the body, and the body is stripping back and it's restoring balance here because it's bringing forth the rainbow body within us. Now, I do not advocate that you placate any physical symptoms that you're having, and I totally recommend that you go and see your GP or your professional, your medical professional. However, you also take responsibility. It's one thing to, don't want to go off on a tangent here. It's one thing to pop a pill. It's another to recognize what is going on for you and start making steps to restore that balance. Because yes, at the beginning of the video, I said that the human body isn't everything, but it is a solid foundation as well. It needs to be cared for. As we go into next year, it is the very balance of all potential. We are going to be shown where we're lacking in that. And it's not about the world attacking us, and it's not about not getting the support that we need. And you know, I've gone down that rabbit hole this week. It's not about any of that. It's about acknowledging what our body needs. That could be mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of the above, what it needs, and stepping into the necessary guardian that we are to ensure that that is possible. So that whether we are facing dark times or light times, we recognize we have the strength to do both because they are within us. Whether we are low or high, whether we are, you know, I'm hearing that song again, the Wake Me Up Before We Go, don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. We're not here to just be affected by the external. We are here to create the external in our responses also. Are we strong enough to do that? Where do we need to restore balance with that? On the Sunday, overall, we have a turning point. And yeah, break it down this week. One day at a time, one step at a time, one emotion at a time. Rather than clumping it all together, we can have this knee-jerk reaction. The brain fills in the gaps, right? The brain is so busy that it fills in the gaps. When we have a moment to step back, we have a moment to bring in and process new information. whilst we're filling in the gaps, we can have a reaction and go back to old stories around that reaction and think that we've actually moved through that, but we haven't, because it's an old story. We've treated a new, possibly new reaction with old medicine. That's not working anymore. That's not giving us the turning point. So break it down this week. Be with the thoughts. Be with the emotions. Be with the body. Be with the relationship that may not be going where you want it to go. Be with the money blocks. Be with the all these wonderful gifts of inspiration that just need uncovering. Be with them. Be with the potential. Sit with it and wait for something new to come through around it. Let that be the turning point, because that is what we have overall in the Chariot. We have 35. We have a turning point. This is what I actually feel for the next few weeks, no matter how clouded it feels, no matter how dark it feels, no matter how illusionary it can seem. What I actually feel is there is a path clearing for us all to give the opportunity for next year to be completely different. That this turning point is actually the end of the whole not the end, but the next stage of the whole Pachacuti from 2012 in December. That this is a chance to put things right, to turn things on their head, to face some, it's not harsh truths, it's not humble truths, it's human truths. To really be aware with where we're at so that we can know where we're headed. So overall, let's turn that one up as well. We have the triumph underneath. Yeah, okay, recognizing what success actually means to us, but it's not even about success. It's integrity. Have we upheld our integrity at the cost of success? Whether that's successful relationships, successful business, successful friendships, are we integral within them? Are we authentic within them? There's no judgment there. It's a wonderful chance to shift gears, to change paths perhaps for some, to open up to more vast potentials. Last night I dreamt I was back in midwifery, and there was a sister there who I should imagine has actually passed on now, but a sister there that was creating workshops about creativity. And yeah, this whole idea of bringing the two together, or at least recognizing that's what I've been doing, seeing creativity for the healing that it is, but also recognizing that midwifery, being a midwife, is someone that can hold space for that, which could spark something completely different. So play with this, guys. Play with it. Have fun with it. See it for a potential beginning. See it for a journey of letting go of anything that represses you, including what you think you know. We can get so comfortable in the version of ourselves we think we know we are, or the world we think we know. And on the one hand, we can want things to change, but on the other hand, we can be really comfortable. And this week, yeah, that's going to come forward in how grateful we feel. There's no, I'm still going to say it, there's no bullshitting a bullshitter. Okay, so being very, very honest with yourself. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcanas this week. The turning point again comes from the fates. We're going to feel the pressure of the universe as well, wanting something different, of not wanting this constant repression now, of wanting us to think outside the box and really tap into that innate wisdom, of wanting us to be able to restore balance in order to shift things, of wanting us to be the turning point also. We then have, from a minor arcana perspective, 2 wand cards, 1 pentacle card and 1 cup card. No sword cards this week. And I want to go into that, and I want to try and understand that more, but there are no sword cards. So let go of the need, and now I'm smiling, let go of the need to try and understand things. Let go of the need to want to have that clarity. Acknowledge that you are the clarity. The external you're never going to understand until you can understand what's going on for you. So bring it back to the self this week. We have 2 wand cards. It doesn't feel like I'm ready to go to the wands yet. It doesn't feel, I hear take it to the mattress. That's a Godfather phrase, isn't it? That's my shadow self coming through. It doesn't feel that I want to go there yet. It's not about drive. It's not about push, regardless what we see around us. We're not ready to go to the wand ambition side of things until we can look at what brings us gratitude emotionally, and from there allow our actions to be more generously based. That is what brings us triumph. That is what brings us a more refreshed version of where we are. That is what brings the new beginning, releases the repression, helps us understand things in times of unknowable potential, turns the point that we're at and restores balance. There's no faking it this week. You either want to do it and be part of it and take it to the next level, or you don't. And that's okay. Just be honest. Underneath it all, we have the Seven of Pentacles. Timing. Underneath it all, what's for us will always be there. We need to be ready. We need to want it. You know where I am. Take care.